to today's webinar. I want to call attention to that little bit of text underneath Elevate Your Business Growth. You know, that's a pretty fancy title, but what is this all about? We're going to be talking about list growth and list building and engagement. And the reason why I chose this topic is, as Randy said, I've been teaching Constant Contact for feels like forever, and I've been in marketing forever. And one thing, as I crisscross the country, talk to small business and nonprofits, is obviously we're in the thick of things right now. Now, things may actually be quieting down for your business this time of year. Could be quieting down just because we're really up in the holidays now. But I'm really passionate about this subject matter because a lot of organizations don't have a list growth strategy. They do it kind of piecemeal, and people come in. And the reason why I'm passionate about it is we're going to be meeting next year, I'm sure, right? Sometime in October, we're going to be talking about holiday plans and your marketing plans for the holidays, maybe even talk about it in August. My goal here is to have you thinking now about the future, thinking now about how you're going to grow your contact list so that you're ready next year. Now, obviously, list growth, particularly email and SMS contacts, is important for you to communicate with people and market to them year round. But I've often noticed that people don't pay attention this time of year to the traffic they're getting to their website, to their locations, et cetera, as a list growth opportunity. With all the people visiting your site, visiting your location, etc., it'd be a shame if we weren't trying to collect every contact we could. So one thing about 2024 is we are right on the heels of it, and we're just about to move into the new year. And so we've included, Randy, if you could share that link in the chat, we're including a marketing calendar for you to plot out your marketing goals next year, and want to make sure you take advantage of that. One thing about that, I'm actually somewhat using a strategy right now with you that I'm going to talk to you about in the future, which is really providing something valuable as a way to get people to pay attention. So why am I so passionate about contacts? Because you should be passionate about your contacts too. Your contacts are one of the most valuable business assets you have. Think about it. The way you collect, particularly email and SMS permission contacts, is not by punching somebody in the face and stealing their business card or going on websites and copying and pasting people's email address. No, you're probably growing it by having people visit your website, having people buy things from you through e-commerce, you going to trade shows, conferences, expos, you networking here on Alignable. You are growing these contacts through relationships, right? And if we think about our contacts, there's something extremely great about people giving you their contact information. They want to be contacted. They know you. They know what you offer. They know at least a little bit about it, right? You're not cold calling when you do email marketing. You're not cold calling when you do permission-based text marketing. These people know you. They know what you do. They know your value. They are already moving down the sales funnel for you. They are already moving down the donation funnel for you. You are already motivating them to take that next action just by them giving you your their contacts. Now, those of you that are not leveraging email marketing and or text marketing, if you're not doing that, if you're not leveraging the power of your contacts, then you're taking this potential revenue that people are baked in, the potential revenue that's baked into them giving you their contact information, you're throwing it in the garbage. Seems like a waste. So why am I so passionate about contact growth? It's because it powers everything. It's such a valuable asset. 55% of consumers still rank email marketing as their preferred form of communication. 1 in 10 people have shifted their preferences in the last year and also now prefer text messages over both email and social media. But to text, you need that contact information. To email people, you need to have that contact information, right? So how do we entice people to join a list in the first place? It's not about them receiving your email. How many people want to get on another email list? And yet, so many small businesses, so many nonprofits, when they solicit for email addresses on their website, on their social media, on their blogs, etc., they say, join our email list. Be a part of our email blast. That's not really enticing people. No, you need to think through what's in it for them. You need to provide some sense of the value you're going to provide when you do email and or text marketing to people so that they are encouraged to take the next step. So what motivates people to join a list? Well, three things primarily: promotions and discounts, exclusive content, or that you're showing support for a particular cause or you're doing good things in your community. The idea here is to provide that value upon the moment somebody submits their contact information to you. And a couple of different ways that you can provide that kind of value. You could provide it through a loyalty or referral program. This is one of my favorites. I see a lot of organizations do this, where you make people feel like they're part of an exclusive club. And if we think about the people that are willing to give you their contact information, they should be considered as part of a very valuable club because they're valuable. So expressing that value by calling it a loyalty program or a preferred program, something like that, making it feel exclusive, and then providing exclusive content is a way to encourage people to join. Instead of just saying, join our list, be a part of our preferred customer program, right? It's a big difference. Another thing you can do is offer something as a giveaway, obviously particularly useful for retail. Offer some sort of giveaway, something tangible that people can receive upon signing up for your list. Now, I generally try to stay product agnostic when I talk to you in this audience. I do have to bring up some specific things Constant Contact does because I work for Constant Contact, but its context and its relevancy are going to be important as I make a couple of points today. One thing Constant Contact has is we have the ability to offer your subscribers a discount. You can get a NIFT gift card as part of using Constant Contact. Constant Contact doesn't pay for it. You don't pay for it. Your customer doesn't pay for it. They can get a valuable $30 gift card to small businesses and online businesses as a thank you for joining a list. The way that this works is that NIFT is actually operating this entire system, and the people that are offering the discounts, they're actually paying for the gift card. They're trying to build traffic to their website. They're trying to build traffic to their local location. And there's no cost for you if you use NIFT within Constant Contact, and it's non-competitive. So if you are retail, you're not going to offer a NIFT gift card to something that's in your category. Another thing you can do is offer something valuable that you may have just laying around, something like an ebook, right? Some kind of thought leadership, giving people something really useful that they can learn more about your industry or about what you do. Maybe something like case studies where you can give examples of social proof on how your organization has helped others or how your organization helps somebody achieve something. Within the same frame, a guide, a checklist, a workbook. It depends on your industry, but if you offer people something like a guide or a checklist, well, that's valuable, especially if they're in market for what it is you do. Webinars and classes. Well, here you are in a webinar, right? Well, why does Constant Contact do these webinars? Well, one, we are passionate about helping small businesses and nonprofits succeed, but we're a company, right? We're hoping that you join the Constant Contact family as a customer. Well, we're providing knowledge in return for hopefully doing business with you. And we even provided a guide right at the top to encourage you to stick around through this webinar and maybe take future action with us if you're not yet a Constant Contact customer. I'd already mentioned a case study, but of course, if you have resources, customers or volunteers or donors that have done work with you or for you, turn it into a case study, get a testimonial, share how your organization has impacted them or impacted the community as a reward for people signing up. One thing I said I said something about you may already have this laying around. You can repurpose content as a lead magnet, right? So it may be something that you developed for your blog. It may be something you developed for a print piece. Maybe you're doing something through a third party, like an association or something of that nature. You can repurpose content. It doesn't have to be net new. Now, one thing you do want to make sure is that if you're offering this kind of lead magnet, this thought leadership type lead magnet, make sure that it's at least original enough that people will feel like it's truly valuable. If it's something that they could also just go to your website and download, well, that's not a very good lead magnet. So how do we entice people to join our list? Well, as you can see here, this is an example of a lead magnet. So this form would live on somebody's social media page. So this real estate agency's social media page. They might share this form on their blog. They might share this form through a QR code, physical media. you can see that the reward is listed on the lead magnet. So what will people get? Instead of saying join our list, they're saying get the guide, 10 steps to buying your first home. People go, oh, I'm in the market. Let me go ahead and enter in my information. And now they're going to get that guide. But they also just joined this real estate agency's mailing list. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, that's kind of bait and switch. No, the verbiage right underneath that lead magnet says that we're going to be giving you monthly emails with other materials. We're being upfront about what people will get. So how do we get this list and other kinds of forms out there into the world? Now, one thing to notice on this form is we're also setting the expectations. So we're saying the frequency of how often people will get text, and we're including things like privacy policies and terms of service. Do know that if you use constant contacts tools to help you grow your list like this, and in fact, this form comes from constant contacts tools, the terms of service and the privacy policy are already baked in for you. So how do we leverage lists like that and other, or how do we leverage forms like that and other tools to help you grow in 2024? The most knee-jerk common thing small businesses and nonprofits tend to do is have a way to join a list on the website. Now, one thing I'd encourage you to think through is where you're putting that form, because I've seen a lot of organizations have an intake form of sorts, right? A way to collect people's contact information, but it's usually on a tab of the website or a place in the website saying contact us. Two things about that. Nothing terribly wrong with that strategy, but one, it's a little bait and switch if we're asking people to contact, like contact us, and then we're sending them email marketing, right? Contact us, and then we're sending them text marketing. So the intention of the person going to a contact us page is to be contacted, right? They have some problem, they have some question. They don't necessarily signing up for your newsletter. So I'd encourage you to think through, if you have a contact us and you're using that as your lead magnet, you might want to be a little more explicit in what you're doing. Make sure that they know that they're going to be receiving other kind of content. Now, when you are trying to solicit for email addresses, one of the best places you can go, one of the best tools you can use, and yes, this is in constant contact, is a pop-up form. Pop-up form is really powerful, and I know some of you are groaning right now, like, look, there's a love-hate relationship with pop-up forms, but the reason why they're still around is because they're effective. Pop-up forms are a very powerful way to announce the fact that you have a lead magnet, and you have something of value to provide, in this case, a free consultation. And through constant contacts pop-up form tools, you can time it to show up only occasionally, right? Meaning that the first time they visit, yeah, the pop-up shows up. But if they show up again, maybe it doesn't show up. Maybe it shows up on every 10th visit. Maybe it shows up if they start to leave your website. So you can control that experience. One thing I would also encourage you to do is don't rely on just one form. So while a pop-up is really powerful, and most people put that on their homepage, you may want to have other kinds of forms on different pages of your website. Not everybody's going to go to your homepage. Thanks to search engines, somebody might be going deeper into your website and bypassing your homepage altogether. The most common example I can think of is restaurants, right? So a restaurant, if somebody's Googling a restaurant, they may never go to the homepage. They may start right on the menu page. So you do need to watch the traffic that you're getting and seeing where people go on your website, but you also need to think strategically on where people might find content that's useful to them and encourage them to join a list on those pages as well. You don't have to just have one way to grow a list. You can have it across different pages of your website. In fact, Constant Contact has more than just pop-ups. We also have banners and other kinds of animated experiences where these forms can show up on the website. You can even have something called an inline form, which is a form that can live on your website. Anybody that enters their information through any of these tools can be funneled right into your Constant Contact account. Now, if anybody watching has an e-commerce business, well, make sure you're soliciting for email addresses through those tools as well. One thing you want to make sure you do is, if those tools offer the ability to have people opt into a list, never pre-check the box. Always encourage people, well, you're going to want to encourage people to actually decide to get your marketing. Never force them into it, because while it is legal for you to do email marketing to people who have done business with you, it's not good form to just assume that because they bought something online, they're going to want your email marketing. It also may be a little difficult for you to establish the idea of a lead magnet in a form like this, but make sure you're paying attention, if you do e-commerce, to the checkout experience, and make sure you're optimizing that experience to collect people's permission to email or text. Make sure you mobilize your social following to join your list. So a lot of organizations, as I said, their knee jerk is to put forums on their website, but they don't pay as much attention to social media as possible as a way to grow their list. So one of the things you want to think through is adding a link to a sign up form on your profile, right? So you can see here's an example on Instagram where we're soliciting people to join a list through our Instagram profile. So where are some other places you could solicit for email addresses on a profile? Well, let's think that through. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Alignable. Ask for people to join a list by clicking on a link on your profile, and then perhaps if you use Constant Contact, you have that intake form as the place the link goes to. So they click on a link and now they're taken to your form. You can include things like lead magnets through this, where you can encourage people to take an action to receive something valuable. Just make sure you always tell people your intentions once they get to that form, that you're going to send them more than just this guide or just this thought leadership or just this discount. I have instructions, I believe Randy will be sharing through the chat on how you can do this next piece, but you want to link your call to action button, a call to action button on social media as well. So you can see here an example of how people can join a list through a call to action button. There's a few steps you'll need to take on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Alignable to add a call to action literally on the social page so that people can actually just click a link, click a button, and go and join your list. If you do need to provide multiple links, then you're going to want to use something called a link tree. So that's going to be where you drive people to a variety of different places to take action. One of those might be joining a list or visiting you on a different social profile or going to your blog. And so link trees are just a one-page mini website with multiple links on it where people can make a determination where they go. Constant Contact gives you the ability to create link trees through something called custom landing pages, where you can turn that one-page mini website into anything. And in this particular example, we've turned it into a link tree. You also may want to create a post and then pin it as a favorite article, or pin it as a post at the top of your web page, at the top of your social page is another way to drive people to that form. If you have a budget too, you might want to also consider using Facebook and Instagram lead ads to drive people to your list and grow your list. So Constant Contact has a couple of different options for you. One is a lead growth or list growth social ad functionality. What that means is you can actually purchase an ad through Constant Contact for Facebook and Instagram or Google, and you can have that lead ad actually show up on people's Facebook page, Instagram, et cetera, and the ad is asking people, rather than to visit a website, it's asking people to join a list. People join the list. The value of that is that anybody who joins a list through one of these lead ads, those contacts are funneled directly into your Constant Contact account for you. You can even buy ads through Constant Contact to link to anything. So you could even buy a social ad for Constant Contact to link to your Alignable listing, right? And another benefit to using Constant Contact and to buy social media advertising, well, there's actually two more benefits. One is all of your creative is right there in your Constant Contact account. So images that you've used in email or other kinds of campaigns are available to you right there in your lead ad or in your purposeful Facebook, Instagram, or Google ad. But another thing that we do through Facebook and Instagram is you could do something called lookalikes, where you can actually upload your list that's already in Constant Contact and have Facebook, Instagram find people that look like people on your list. And what does that mean? It means they're going to find people in the same area of town or with the same interests or with the same budgetary constraints. They're going to find people that look like your current customers. And that's going to be funneling those new people into Constant Contact for you. You also want to pay attention to what's going on social media. So you always want to be commenting back to people, and you want to be responding to both positive and negative comments. You do need to be interactive on social media for social media to really work, but you also want to be creative for when the opportunity comes that you can encourage people to join your list via responses, meaning that we cover that topic and you post in your intake form so that they can join your list to get more information about that particular topic that they're commenting on. Another strategy is to collaborate with other businesses to gain exposure. Obviously, you'd want to choose an organization where your business and their business enhance each other. It's not competitive, but collaborate is a way to encourage each other's followers to connect to you to grow your list. So you'd want to be thinking through where your product is enhanced by their product, and then they promote you on their social media and you promote them on your social media. You share their intake form on their social media and you share theirs on yours, and you're driving traffic to each other while simultaneously growing both of your lists. Now, for those of you that have retail, physical locations, or do anything in the real world, you also want to think through your print materials. So are you collecting contacts on your print materials? A lot of people, when they think about email marketing and text marketing, they think digital, digital, digital. But if you think about it, most of you watching today, your audience actually interacts with you in a physical space more than you may think. Business cards, truck wraps, table tents, signage in your store, receipts, invoices. There's a lot of different ways that people might interact with you in a physical space. Make sure you're giving people the opportunity to join your list through physical media. All you would do is take that intake form and convert that link into a QR code so that people could scan their phone over it and join your list right there on their phone. If you do events, and this is going to be true for also retail, anybody that has a front door and a way that they're interacting with customers directly, you may want to think about utilizing apps to help you grow your list in those kind of spaces. So again, I promised you at the beginning that this is going to be a little more Constant Contact centric than a typical presentation, but Constant Contact does have a free app for Apple and Android that you can download. It's tablet based, so you need to download it into a tablet. But the idea is that you can have this customized form. You can see an example of it here on the slide. You can have a customizable form branded to you, asking the questions that are important to you. And when people come into the store, or you're at the trade show, you're at the expo, you're at a Chamber of Commerce event, you can have that tablet sitting out at your table. You can have that tablet, you can hand it to people, and they can enter in their information. The benefit to the app is, one, you don't have to have internet for it to work. So if you're at an experience where the internet isn't that good, or there is no internet connectivity, people can still enter their information. And as soon as you connect that tablet to Wi-Fi, all of those contacts are going to be funneled right into your Constant Contact account for you. The other benefit is avoiding the old pen and paper problem, which is people's handwriting isn't all that good. And somebody has to sit behind the scenes and transfer all that information into their Constant Contact account. Sometimes it's hard to read. This is allowing people to type in their own information in order to get on your list. And again, you could use lead magnets here as well. All right, so it's 2024. We have all different ways that we're growing our list. How do we build momentum off of that? Well, this is where automation comes in, because there's a variety of different kinds of automation you can employ. The one we're going to specifically talk about is list growth automation, meaning that when somebody is added to one of your lists by you or their own action, by them joining a list, you can fire off emails to them. So one of the most important emails, and I think I've said this to this audience a few times, is a welcome email. So if people are joining your list, you definitely want to welcome them and thank them for joining your list. This is also especially important if you're offering something through a lead magnet, because that welcome email that's fired off the moment they join your list could include the reward that you're offering as a lead magnet. So this could be where you have a video. This could be where you have a downloadable PDF, that guide. This could be where you deliver that discount and or other information. So you definitely want to have that welcome email go out. And even if you don't have a lead magnet running, you definitely want to set up your welcome email, because if somebody joins your list, statistically, they're going to open your first email. It's one of the highest, most opened emails that you'll ever send out. So you definitely want to have material and information in that welcome email that's useful to your business, that's pushing people to the next step you want them to take, because odds are they're going to open it and read it. Now you can go further and you can have multiple emails go out. So you can send that welcome email, and then perhaps in the second email, you include different ways that they can connect to you on social media, on your blog, or maybe your YouTube channel. You can drive people to that next step they want to take. You can even have further emails where you're taking people down the next steps they need to take to buy your product, or maybe you have a fear of missing out on a special discount or something of that nature. The idea behind having multiple emails is that you can take people from the first step of them joining a list down to the final step of them taking that action. Some of the things you can include in those multiple emails are going to be the features and benefits that you offer, or customer testimonials. At the end, though, and actually not even at the end, through all the emails, you should always ask people to take that next step that you want them to take. One of those next steps could be actually going and purchasing the product or hiring you for their services. But some of you might say, well, Matt, what if they end up taking an action on one of the emails? Do I want to keep sending them the next email? Well, maybe you don't. That's where a feature of functionality within Constant Contact can help you through something called splitting. So we can do a conditional split. So the idea here is that once people take some action in our email, perhaps we take them down a different path, or perhaps we stop the path altogether. So what are some things we could make conditional splits around? Well, if somebody is on your SMS list, if they've given you permission to text them, perhaps I don't send them an email in the first place. They join my list and I just immediately shuffle them off to receive automated texts. Or maybe they take an action in one of our emails. Maybe we have an email with a link in it where once they click that link, we know that they're either interested or not interested in something. We can take them down different paths. So there's actually two ways you could think about that. One, let's say that we have a product in our email. They click on a link. Perhaps we stop the whole process. We don't send them any more emails. They took the bait. They went and found the information that we wanted them to find, and we stop the automation. Or we could look at it another way and say, let's send them a little bit more information about that particular product because they clicked on the link. Conditional splits can also, for those of you that use e-commerce, can also take a look at revenue and recently purchased items. So, did they spend this much over this much time? Have they not spent this much over this amount of time? Have they abandoned their cart? Have they not taken an action that we want? You can have these conditions piled on top of each other to provide emails and or SMS messages relevant to whatever they did, whatever your email was about or your text. For those of you that have writer's block, I've shown this a couple times. Artificial intelligence is here to help you. So you put in a few words and artificial intelligence can actually craft up your messages for you. I'm going to show you in just a bit something brand new, and it's a little bit like what I showed last month, but it's actually brand new, where Constant Contact is rolling artificial intelligence into all of our products and features. So make sure that my goal for you is to have you grow your contact list by at least 100 subscribers by next year, so that next year, when we're in Q4 and you're trying to get those holiday sales going or get those donations for Giving Tuesday, you're ready with the most robust list you can. Make sure you're always thinking about what's in it for them, not you. Don't make it about getting on your list. Provide something of value. Doesn't have to be monetary, but provide something of at least perceived value. Leverage the various channels that you're on. So from just social media to blogs, make sure you're talking to people if you're doing things in person, you're thinking through the strategy of how you're going to grow your list there. And make sure that whatever you do, you always run and set up a welcome email because it is one of the most opened emails you'll ever send.